over.
He got to this point by attacking the political establishment, and he kept that train rolling tonight.
We cannot afford to be so politically correct anymore. So if you want to hear the corporate spin, the carefully crafted lies, and the media myths, the Democrats are holding their convention next week. Go there. Hillary Clinton's legacy does not have to be America's legacy. The problems we face now, poverty and violence at home, war and destruction abroad, will last only as long as we continue relying on the same politicians who created them in the first place.
The theme at the convention tonight was Make America Unite Again. Donald Trump will need some of that within his party and with the voters if he is to succeed in November, of course. Local 12's Jeff Hirsch is on the convention floor in Cleveland right now to kick off our team coverage. Jeff?
Well, good evening, Rob. The confetti is coming down. The curtain symbolically will come down. It was around a year ago when Donald Trump was in this very same building for the first Republican debate. I don't think anybody, including Donald Trump, envisioned a year ago that he would be here tonight. Well, maybe he did, but none of the pundits did. I don't imagine any of the other candidates, including John Kasich, did. John Kasich was hoping to be wrapping up the nomination in his own state. I think the three things that came out to me the most, the three phrases that got the biggest responses were law and order, and that was said a lot, build the wall, and lock her up, as in Hillary Clinton. So those are kind of the same themes, although Trump has picked up on law and order quite a bit since the police officers were shot and killed. Other lines that got big responses, a lot of them, but school choice, Supreme Court nominees, thanking the evangelical and religious communities, and the Second Amendment, the support of the NRA. You know, the big question here, or a lot of big questions, but one big question is this represent a long-term change in the Republican Party, or is it simply one charismatic person?
I think he's tapped into a latent concern among some Republicans, particularly blue-collar Republicans, and that is concerns about immigration and concern about trade. So these are issues that have either been tamped down and haven't been fully debated within the party, or they've just been ignored and run roughshod over. So he's brought those to the surface. I think it's cathartic.
Can Donald Trump sway the undecided by continuing his message, which is offensive to a lot of people?
Yeah. You know what? Now that he has his VP, Pence, it's going to balance out, and I think we're going to transform those independent voters and probably some of the Democrats over to the Trump side.
Speaking of the Democrats, the Clinton campaign was sending out email responses to a lot of the Trump points, and I can't go over them all right now, of course, but what they said was that according to the investigative journalism organization PolitiFact, it said that Trump's record on truth and accuracy is astonishingly poor, and of 70 statements they checked, that's not tonight, 70 statements in the past, 3/4 were mostly false or quote-unquote pants on fire. So, you know, we're going to hear all this over the next few months, although to me, the most interesting thing, I think the most memorable thing that I heard Donald Trump say was, nobody knows the system better than me, so I alone can fix it. Like him or not, the guy's got an ego. Live in Cleveland, Jeff Hirsch, Local 12 News, back to you.
Jeff, I'm also surprised that the party didn't end. It looks like the party's continuing behind you.
Well, you know, if you've been building this up for a year and you want to come here and party, you know, it's a grand old party for the grand old party. You know, people have been waiting. They've been waiting through a lot of speeches. You know, there's a lot of boring stuff at a convention, a lot of downtime, a lot of people you don't want to hear. You know, this is the main event. This is the grand slam on the bottom of the ninth, you know, the field goal with the clock running down. Pick any sports analogy you want. This is why people came here. They didn't come here to see Scott Baio. No offense to Scott Baio.
Jeff Hirsch live for us on the convention floor in Cleveland. Thanks very much.
And outside the convention,